So the other day, a ship ran aground in the Suez Canal and blocked it. Oh, sorry. Um, the other day, a ship ran aground in the Suez Canal and blocked. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't say that with a straight face. Yeah, it's a ship ran aground in the Suez Canal and blocked it. That's fabulous. This makes me happy um, because it interferes with the global economy, and the global economy is predicated on consuming life on Earth and converting the living to the dead. And anything that interferes with the functioning of the global economy makes me happy. And what I really want to point out is that as one of the inherent weaknesses in such a interconnected top-down system is that it creates increasing vulnerabilities such that one place, one action can have huge ramifications worldwide in an interconnected global economic system. Anything that interferes with the global economy that is based on systematically converting the living planet into dead objects is good. It makes me happy. And the other thing that's really interesting about this is I've been thinking a lot for a long time, many years, but especially the last couple years, about fulcrums, about how there are certain actions that can magnify efforts, that can magnify events into having uh, very strong ramifications against very strong effects on the global economy. And one example was, and I've mentioned this before, that with the lockdown that began in Wuhan, I started really paying attention to this a couple days later, when only after a few days of lockdown, a Hyundai factory in Korea had to shut down because they couldn't get parts from Wuhan. That's extraordinary when it's more than 1,000 miles away and still was affected by this. And it's still the same. You get one one ship captain who, I don't know what was going on with that guy, if this was a political act or if he was just incompetent or if he was drunk. I will say, I have seen news articles that showed that if you look down on a map of what he was doing before he went in, he he moved his boat in the shape of a penis. So he moved little circles for testicles and then a sort of big straighter. I mean, was that a political statement? Was he just nuts? Was he drunk? I don't know. But the point is that what I really want for people to do as this culture is killing the planet is I want for them to think about and to recognize these various fulcrums that can be used to lever efforts to impinge or to impact or to devastate the global economy. And for decades now, I've been saying that and one of my CDs was called "Now This War Has Two Sides." And it was about the idea that we have to understand that the dominant culture long since declared war on the natural world. The dominant culture has been waging war against the natural world for a couple thousand years now. And if you don't believe that, put yourself in the perspective of a right whale, of a blue whale, of a passenger pigeon, of a delta smelt, of an indigenous human whose land is being taken. And it might change your mind a little bit. Anyway, the way you win wars is by destroying the enemy's capacity to wage war. That's how, the most important thing, yes, Gettysburg was important, Vicksburg was important, but speaking of Vicksburg, cutting the Mississippi and the blockade were all very important for the North winning the American Civil War. World War II, destroying the Germans' capacity to wage war. And it's extraordinary how fragile, we have to recognize how incredibly fragile the entire global interconnected system is if one captain can interfere this much. Something to think about.